Hi, welcome to the Real Slim Katie channel. I'm Katie, and this is a vlog I record for YouTube, which covers mental health, physical health, and overall wellness, including addiction issues. This is the second episode in a series I'm recording covering the COVID-19 pandemic and how I believe it is also a mental health crisis. This episode is going to cover how the ego plays a large role in our negative thinking patterns and really keeping us from achieving our full potential. There are a lot of people that are out of work right now, and a lot of people, may be feeling some sort of negative thoughts about other jobs that they could take, but they feel are not something they would like to do ideally, or maybe that the job is beneath them. I know that an example from my own life is that right now I work part-time as a housekeeper in a grocery store. I'm incredibly grateful to still be employed. And honestly, if you had asked me during active addiction if I would work as a housekeeper, there's no way I would have said yes. I was better than that. I was too good to work as a housekeeper. I guess I thought those kinds of things were for other people, and I was, I guess, better than that, I thought, and that wasn't something I would ever do. I would drink a half a gallon of vodka a day, but being a housekeeper, that's where I drew the line. So clearly, I wasn't thinking clearly. Actually, wasn't thinking very coherently about the choices I was making. Before I took this job, I was offered a job paying me a significantly more amount of money, working in accounts payable and accounts receivable in an office for a good company, unionized job with health benefits. The thing is that it was going to be very sedentary. I wouldn't be moving. It was going to be 4 10-hour shifts, and it was going to be across town with a commute. In addition, I wouldn't be seeing my children as much or my fiance as much, and a lot of the childcare would be falling onto his shoulders, which was definitely something to consider at the time. So when dealing with a career change, your ego can often get in the way, and mine did. Mine got in the way. I cried over this decision. I found it incredibly difficult to turn down a job that was paying me so much more for a job in a field that I never thought I would work in. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow. It was hard for me to make that decision, but in the end, my life is so much better now. So my point being here is that there are a lot of displaced workers. There are a lot of people out there who are doing one line of work, which has basically been phased out for now, for lack of a better word, that are facing having to work in a different industry or a different line of work, maybe something that they've never thought they would do. I mean, I used to think housekeeping would be the worst job ever, because it just seemed so labor intensive and exhausting and unfulfilling. And sometimes I think it's important to look at what you think you need versus what you need, or what you want versus what you need in your life. So I think when making decisions based on career, money is important, but oftentimes it's magnified as far as its level of importance in our lives. And another hard pill for me to swallow is that, I'm not too good for any job. I used to think I was too good, and, housekeeping jobs were for other people. And I don't even know what that meant at the time. But, none of these things would have ever occurred to me, because I was just going to take that job that paid more per hour. Because the only metric I was using to weigh whether a job was good or not was the monetary aspect of it. But I think sometimes what you think you need isn't what you need. Sometimes it requires a leap of faith. And, changing your idea of what you think your future is going to look like. Because that's kind of what the pandemic is doing for all of us right now, or doing to us. I don't know which way you want to look at it. But, we all have plans, and now those plans are put on hold, or they're modified, or they're changed. And we have to reshape what we think the future holds for us, or how it's going to look. And that can include your career. That includes incorporating your ego or not incorporating your ego into your life. For me, it's always had a huge role, too big of a role. I've let my ego make decisions for me that I probably shouldn't have, and it's something I struggle with. I'm seeing if the decision I'm making is my own decision, and if it's a good one, or am I just making it because it was my own decision. So I think that the ego, your ego, my ego, it all gets in our way. We have a very strong sense of self, especially living in the U.S. It's a very me first society, and there are times when that's important. But I really think right now that lots of times letting your ego lead the way is not the right choice, especially when there's so much to consider with stuff up in the air with the pandemic and jobs being lost and people going into new lines of work. I think that keeping your ego in check is incredibly beneficial, and just being able to take a step back and listen to those around you that are trying to help you, loved ones, people people maybe who have experienced adversity and have some experience in making decisions. I think those are all important things to think about now. So I hope that I've covered some topics that are helpful to people. And next week I'll be coming out with another video on mental health during a pandemic. And I'd still love to see some comments on what you might think, and anything you want to hear me talk about. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, I hope you have an inspired day. Thank you.